I'm invested in York basically because York made me. Born and raised here in York, been here all my life. It's not too much I don't understand about York. It made me understand it because this is my life, to the point that I found out what my purpose was, and that was to give back. My brother had got killed, and I was just like real frustrated with, the way things are. Crime was real bad. What was that? Shucks, almost 8 years or so now. And I was real frustrated. And that's when Commissioner Chronister he had a $2.5 million crime plan with the city. And then he decided to bring the sheriffs out of the courtroom and bring them onto the street, which is the CRU you see now, the sheriffs. And he had the Guardian Angels, and they did this big initiative. And I mean, we had a 15% drop in crime, you know what I mean, back when Brenner was in office. And I remember him saying that at his Addressing the City speech. So we just patrolled the streets, it's straight out of New York, Curtis Lee, where of course it's the same, type of stuff. So, I mean, I really think that's what we need now. But I mean, I'm only one person, to be honest with you. If we had a 50 to 100 Guardian Angels, I can guarantee you crime would be hardly nothing, because you have to, in order to combat crime, you have to do proactive. Call the police as a reactive service. I can't call the police and say, I think they're doing something over there. So it's like, well, what do you expect me to do? Call it when it happens and I'll do it. So it's almost like if you do proactive stuff to let the community see, because there's a small percentage of people who are doing the crime. And I love York. But when you look at it, we're reacting to the 5%, let's just say. You know what I mean? And we're dictating what we're going to do by them, where if us as a community let that percentage know what we'll stand for, you won't have it. So it's just a matter of what we're settling for and what we'll accept. So I wholeheartedly believe that the Guardian Angels is part of the answer, because you got community people out there patrolling the streets who know the people. I mean, in our experiences, you got people like, thank you, thank you, thank you, when we're out on the patrol. Now, we're doing this for free, but that is what pays us, because people appreciate what you're out there doing voluntarily, that people are getting paid to do. So, and then, criminals respond to it. Nobody wants to be seen. Nobody wants to be told on, because the climate has been, don't talk. You know what I mean? So that is where we are today. So when you get ordinary people walking the streets that they know, for crying out loud, I was born and raised here, so I know 90% of the people, and if not, their parents or their, and then what I do is a living with youth programs. I done had over 500 kids in the last 20 years, so it's like, so that's the effect that community has that makes this, for me, as another tool to make a difference. One thing you have to realize when dealing with kids is they all want to belong to something. They all want to be a part of something. The question is, what are they going to be a part of? Like I said, I'm a product of my environment. So when you look around at our environment sometime, it's not when I grew up, go outside and play and stop running in and out. Where if you can't tell your kid now to just go outside and play, because there's certain things out there that you might not want them to be exposed to with the internet, and that's a whole nother job. But what a kid gets in Temple Guard is self-esteem. And when you see the Temple Guards, it's not that you just see them performing, you feel them. Because what's coming off of them is energy and pride, like that's valuable as I don't know what. So that's what they get out of first. They get a sense of belonging and pride and self-esteem. The other thing they get is they get an armor that you need to walk into this world every day, because you have to put on the armor. Now, this stuff is biblical, because that's where the roots came from with God. But with church and state, you can't really push your religion. But with me, it's in me, to the point that these kids put on a shield that will allow them to handle the peer pressure. You could not beat or browbeat a Temple Guard down mentally, because they are so strong in knowing who they are. Now, I know that once you know who you are, you could be anything. So my job is to let them figure out who they are. And that's the most blessing thing in Temple Guard. When a kid realizes who they are, man, that's the most valuable thing in this world. And that's what Temple Guard gives. And it's out the box. It's not your traditional of how you do that, but technically it is, because if you look at youth, which is my passion, they operate off of certain things. And nowadays, to be a parent, you have to have a certain tool in your toolbox, because it's harder to raise a kid now than it has been with social media and everything else. So if you don't use the tools, hip hop, the stuff that inspires them, that's in the music, that penetrates them all day, every day, and give a foundation of who you are, what's real and what's fake, and to decipher, good luck. And that's what Temple Guard gives. And when you go back to the title of Temple Guard, they are the temple and I'm the guard. Where we at right now is you have to start young. Now, I'm not saying that we could make a big difference immediately. When it comes to Temple Guard, I feel as though I've done a lot when it comes to, I even go to the detention centers and do programs to try to, once they get in trouble. My focus is, let's stop them from getting in trouble. Then we won't have that problem. So we have to start now so that in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, our problems are less, rather than watching for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years and watch our problems getting worse, because we can rewind and say, it's not getting any better if you want to be technical. With the murders and the shootings, I mean, the fact that people are comfortable in broad daylight, pulling out a gun and shooting and not worrying about what happens, we're at a point where if you don't change that mentality, we could sit back for a couple more years. I hate to see where we're going. So with Temple Guard, I'm trying to teach the young ones the way that it should be rather than what our environment says. With Guardian Angels, they're adults who've decided that they want to make a better community for their kids. So they stand up and do what they have to do as far as that goes. So that's the advantage of both programs. That's what it offers, York. And for the most part, I mean, the Temple Guard, they really appreciate it, man. We're busy, but it's been 20 years. You know what I mean? This is not overnight. It's just consistency. So with consistency, that's the key, especially when you're talking about youth. You cannot be wishy-washy and what day is it? You have to know. I've been 2 days a week, Tuesday and Thursday, for 20 years consistently, and same time slot. So you just have to be consistent, and whether I want to be there or not, whether I feel like being there or not, is not in the equation. Consistency is the key. The QOP program, which the Quantum Opportunities program, is a program that I know through doing Temple Guard that it wasn't enough just to keep them out of gangs and drugs. I knew that if I wasn't getting them out of York and giving them more opportunities, I was losing them to violence. It happened in the beginning. So I knew I needed that educational component. So the educational component came to me, this is how God works, and he'll just lay stuff out for you and you just have to follow it. I don't know everything until I get up on it, and then I know what I have to do. The YWCA has always been in the community, always been key, and I could tell you, women get things done. I'm going to be honest with you. So before I was under the YWCA with Temple Guard, we were just Temple Guard, and the YWCA, Jane Conover was there. Jane Conover is community as far as I'm concerned. Jane Conover would help us when she didn't have to, being through the YWCA. I remember Jane Conover sending me to State Representative Steve Stetler. Steve Stetler would give $5,000 a year for Temple Guard for uniforms back in '99. You know what I mean? But that was a help. They would give it to the Y, of course. He wouldn't give it to me. I'm just a little guy saying that I'm going to do. And I did receipts and everything was done. So that kind of stuff would make a community. So when I found out that they had the Quantum Opportunities program at the Y, someone came to me, hey, that was it. That's what I need. That's the educational component to Temple Guard. So yes, I will take this job at the YWCA with the Quantum Opportunities program. I knew immediately I'm running my kids through this program. The Quantum Opportunity is a program that the YWCA had that if inner city students would go to college, would they go if they had the opportunity? The opportunity consists of, they come to me every day after school, Monday through Thursday. I deal with everything that a guidance counselor would do. Each kid gets $750 a year put in an escrow account for college. We go on college tours, and that was the concept. So oh yes, this is what I need. So I took that job and, signed all my kids up. At that point, I was only allowed 25 kids. And then shortly after I took the job, they gave me the whole department and I had 50 kids. So I'm allowed 50 kids in that program who earns up to $750 a year for an escrow account for them to go to college. This is the 11th year, 100% of my kids have gone on to college. I put over 200 kids in college through the Quantum Opportunities Program. Now, 100%, we are in New York. This is my passion. These are kids. This is not an assembly line or stomping out pieces of metal and, we stamped it wrong, so we put it over there and we melt it back down and do it over. You have one chance to make a difference in someone's life. So you have to take it seriously and you have to make sure you are effective in that opportunity. So that being said, we have the quantum opportunities that now Temple Guard has to funnel right into. 100% is one on the college. I mean, I'm dealing with them every day. I'm taking kids from 2.0 GPAs to 3.5 GPAs. I mean, I have students graduating from college. My son is one of the first pupils through Quantum Opportunities Program. See, it all comes full circle because that was the way I also had to raise my son. Now, he shared me with all of these kids, but he was through the program. He was 5-year-old when he started Temple Guard when I started it. And it was all about making sure he had an environment to grow up in that was conducive to getting where I already knew he had to go through. So all of that worked in the favor to the point that I wouldn't want to do anything else. To me, to be honest with you, I found who I am and I know what I'm supposed to do on this earth. So no amount of money is worth what that can give me right now. I know what my purpose is. So you're only as effective as your passion. If you're passionate about it, you will be effective.